Welcome back to the official Life Madness Companion podcast. I'm Jones, that's Eli, and oh boy, do we have an episode for you today. We are breaking down the round of 32, and Eli, after the round of 64, where there weren't so many upsets, there were a few games to pick out, there were a few close games, but you know, the round of 64, sometimes there are discrepancies in team talent. Wow. This round of 32 was full of classics. I don't even know where to start.
Well, you said it. I mean, look, the round of 64, there weren't so many upsets, and honestly, there weren't even necessarily a ton of upsets here either. But, Jones, I think we had 4 games that were 51-49.
Yeah.
4 games?
Mm-hmm.
Are you serious? That's insane. That's a quarter of the games. Coming down to the final shot of the game. No. Wait, it might have been 5 games.
5? Really? Producer Messina, can you confirm that for us?
I'm just checking right now, actually. I have the scores in front of me. No, it was 4 games.
It was 4 games.
It was 4 games. But that's incredible. And, we had a couple that were 53-47, a couple 52-48. So, so many really high-quality games. And that's what we say about Life Madness, right? As the tournament gets on, the games get better.
They do say that.
I'm thrilled for the rest of the tournament. I know I'm looking at the Sweet 16. I was looking at the power rankings. I don't know if they've released the power rankings yet. Yoda's power rankings. All 16 of those teams in the power rankings could easily be number 1.
Yep.
That's honestly how I feel. So we're going to talk about the round of 16, or the Sweet 16 tomorrow. So come back tomorrow morning. We're going to be previewing the Sweet 16 for you on your Sunday. But today, we're breaking down the round of 32. And I can't wait. Nobody else I'd rather do it alongside.
Oh, I mean, you are the best partner, and that's why we've been doing this for 80 billion years together. Yep. It's really something special. So let's dive right into it. Round of 32. We'll start in the Midwest region where we always like to start. We had this Friday Wii Sports game, right? And so many people were saying, Wii Sports, Wii Sports, Wii Sports. Matt is one of the best athletes ever. We're going to see an upset. And even on here, Eli, who is the biggest Friday fan in the world, conceded that there could possibly be an upset. But partner, your boys stand strong. They win it 64-36. And this game was never really in doubt.
It wasn't really. And honestly, Jones, you mentioned Friday Wii Sports. I thought, oh my God, was that this year? It feels like a lifetime ago with the number of great games we've seen since then. But yeah. This game was never close. And look, I mentioned it on Reels, I mentioned it on Live. This whole last week has been hell. For me, for my family, my pets, my loved ones. We've been ridiculed.
Yep.
And we've been kind of cast out in society. I've had people showing up to my home where my children sleep and throwing all kinds of produce and vegetables and meat through the windows at me saying, I hate you, Wii Sports is going to beat your team. There's no place for that.
And I had some produce and meat to get rid of. So
you were in on that?
So yes, I made a post on Craigslist looking to form an angry mob to go to Eli's house.
So that was you.
And can I tell you, a lot of people jumped in on it.
I'm sure there was a ton of interest.
Yeah, there was. And I would say we were pretty good shots. Did we hit your children at all?
My children were hit a couple times.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. We never meant to do that.
And my pets were hit.
Oh.
I thankfully was not hit.
Okay.
I have a nice defense system in there. I got umbrellas around my bed. So I was not hit by any of the produce. But all that to say, I was being ridiculed all week for being a Friday fan. This Wii Sports community is so, I'm not going to say violent, but
use a nice word.
Passionate about their team. And they love their team, and I respect them. They have good reason to, right? It's been a great season for Wii Sports. We actually had the owner of Wii Sports on our live stream the other night, and he was a great fellow. Forget his name, but a lovely fellow. If he's tuning
Wesley,
in,
I believe.
Wesley, if he's tuning in right now, all the best to you. But really, I'm happy to sit here right now and say I'm ready to throw my proverbial produce and meat back at all the Wii Sports fans. Because my Friday got it done, Jones. And they got it done. You said it before. This one was never in doubt. Yep. I watched the first 3 minutes from Wakanda. I saw Cold Beer and TGAF. They combined for 12 points in the first 3 minutes. I turned it off. I went to sleep. And I sleep very rarely. I slept through the whole game because I was never worried. There was never a reason to be.
And you missed Daniel Craig's litany of threes.
Yeah. Didn't need to see it.
He was excellent down the stretch.
He had 36.
Yeah.
That's the same as Wii Sports had as a team.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this as a Wii Sports fan. And we kind of talked about it a little bit in the reels. Where do you go from here? Obviously, their star player, Matt, quite the season from him. He's in National Player of the Year contention. There's been rumors about him maybe transferring to people named Matt. Are you worried about that?
No, I don't think that's really going to be a problem at the end of the day. I think Matt Damon is going to disallow that. I don't think he wants the competition for ball handling with Matt. I think he'll stay at Wii Sports at the end of the day. And obviously, this is a disappointing season, but you got to remember there are a lot of good me's around Matt. And I think we'll look back on this as committee malfeasance to put them in the region with the number 1 overall seed. Because I think against any other 1 seed, maybe not destroying Bro in fantasy, but especially the 1 seeds in the East and the West in summer fling and house parties, I think they would have had a good chance to upset them. And I think they're walking away from this upset that in their second game, after winning 95-5, when they were the 9 seed over the 8, then to run into a 1 seed like Friday in the second round, it's not fair. It's not.
Yeah. And there'll be questions to be had for the committee. And, Kermit runs the committee. He's a good friend of ours. People will be asking him questions. I don't know how he'll respond to those criticisms. He's very hard to reach.
He is.
He lives very remote. But, Jones, look, we talked about coming into this round a potential to see all 4 9s winning. We said this on the pod last week. Could we see all 4 9s taking out all 4 1s? Hasn't happened since the year 7. Instead, all 4 1s get the job done.
Yeah, not to give too much away, but they do. And the other 9, we'll talk about it. We liked the 9 in the West to get the upset.
And they were close. They were the closest.
And that game was crazy. And if it wasn't for what's going to go down as a modern day tragedy, they probably do. Now let's move down to the 5-4 game in Agrabah and talk about close games. This was our first real close one in the round of 32. 51-49 late night Campfire over Parlay hits before halftime. What we had to do for this game, actually, is as DeAndre Hopkins falls over with excitement.
Oh, my God.
DeAndre.
And if you're listening on the podcast, Jonah has a life-size DeAndre Hopkins figurine on his desk.
I'm being told this is how tall he is in real life, I would assume. Now he's staying up. And just, again, if you're listening, just to quickly paint you the picture, he's sitting next to Yoda, Julio Jones, Garrett Cole, and Lawrence Taylor.
All life-size.
All life-size. What a group that is. I can't really see anything because they're just blocking my view, obviously, due to their life-sizeness.
I have Lamar Jackson and George Costanza on my desk.
Yes.
And a few other select figures.
Accoutrements, some would say. But we actually had to break out our whiteboard a la classic, a la the days of 100 and 200, and draw out the play.
Yeah.
So tell us about that final play you drew out.
Yeah. Well, look, I said it, and if you haven't watched the reel, go back and watch it. Look, I wasn't watching this game. It was in Agrabah. My friend Al kind of texted me about it, and he sent me, I don't know if you've seen the footage of in the huddle. Head coach laid that Campfire, right? He draws up this play, head coach Flint.
Right.
And let me paint a picture for the people. I don't have my whiteboard on me. Producer Messina, maybe you can put on the screen, Producer Messina, a screenshot of the whiteboard.
That would be great.
That'd be awesome. We believe he can do that.
He can do that.
He can do anything. It was a great play. Great play design, right? They inbound it to S'mores at the top of the key. He kind of does a little bit of a reverse pivot, kind of squiggle back and forth. I think we got a couple of down picks from Ember and Flame. I think he then looked inside. I think it was Scary Story cutting up, combining with Campfire songs. I can't exactly remember. There was a little bit of pick and pop kind of action down low. We allow S'mores to get down to the baseline, get to the rim, attack the basket. He has to hit the shot. 0.7 seconds on the clock. Very simple play design, right? You've seen this kind of a play 100 times from Flint. And it's just about, can he hit that shot in that moment? And he does. And you know, this, look, Max Kellerman, you know, a friend of ours as well. State of the universe on the line, Do you want S'mores taking that shot? I think this proves categorically yes. And this is what, not to get ahead of ourselves, we'll talk about the Sweet 16 later on. If you're a Friday or you're any other team in this region looking at Late Night Campfire and saying, this is a really good team that we're going to have to play, how can we beat this team? You got to figure out a way to shut down S'mores. Because when he's playing at the top of his game, he's the best of the best.
Yeah, and that's going to be a test against Friday, for sure. But, yeah, I mean, Parlay hits before halftime. I thought they were going to get it done.
Did you?
LeBron James, 10-plus points. Puka Nacua receptions. CMC receptions plus rushing yards.
Rushing,
yeah, receiving rushing.
Curry threes even was playing well.
Curry threes was playing well. Draymond Green ejections.
Jets to lose.
Right.
Was playing really well.
So we thought that they had the legs, but clearly in the end, just not strong enough. Big win for Late Night Campfire. I want to jump down to this game in District 12 because there were people disrespectful.
Yeah.
There were people who were being disrespectful.
I'm going to give you your time here. Go on a little bit of a rant if you want.
Well, not even a rant because this is not a crewmate 3 situation. No. Right?
You don't hate doomscrolling.
I don't hate doomscrolling at all.
But you love college.
I love college. Extremely. A near and dear team in my heart. I went there, obviously. My alma mater.
Yeah.
But I'm not just being biased, I think. I think really where they ended up in a stacked Midwest on this 3-line was actually a pretty good draw for them. Obviously, they're going to probably have to go up against Friday in the Elite 8. If they obviously get past their Sweet 16 game. And I'm not going to disrespect this team that they're going to play, which we'll talk about in just a second. But Doomscrolling beats Bottomless Brunch. We know everything that happened with Mimosa not wearing bottoms, right? And that really powered that upset. But I think, sometimes the problem with some of Life Madness fans, and not a problem, because we value all Life Madness fans equally, but they see a team upset, and then they immediately want to say that the slipper fits. And the slipper doesn't fit after 1 round, my friend.
No.
It doesn't always fit after 2 rounds.
No.
You need to prove that.
Yeah.
To be a Perry the Platypus level slipper fitter.
Risky text.
Right. You need to play like Risky Text played. And that's just rare.
Yeah.
So Doomscrolling gets taken down by College, 66-34. And College, they just did all the right things. They cruised. They finally cut class. Beer pong.
They cut him?
They cut him.
Oh, wow.
They cut him. Officially cut him.
Great move.
Great move, finally. I'm a little worried about flunking out getting subbed into the game now. That's the only kind of downturn there. But Beer Pong played really well. Discovering Yourself played really well, right? Even Dining Hall actually ate up in this game. So 66-34 win. And, for anybody who thought there was going to be an upset in District 12, I told you so. There wasn't.
Jones, let's move down because you said everything that I could ever want to say.
Sure.
And probably more about that matchup. So let's move down now to the final game in this region. It was French Kissing, first night of vacation. French Kissing coming off a great win against Sopranos in the first game of the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have it in this one.
Nope.
And look, I said it on the reels. I don't think French Kissing has anything to be ashamed of. I don't want them to hold their heads low. Hold them high. Lift them up to the sky and be proud. I don't know how it works in France, but here in America, you can be proud of yourself. And really a valiant effort. They had a great win in the first round, and this is a team that I don't think anybody expected to beat. First night of vacation. They come up short, obviously, 22-77. I think it was the most lopsided result of the round. But, a great season for them. Tung played out of his mind in this one. He was everywhere in places I had never even seen him. Not much even really to criticize from this team.
No, not at all. I mean, first night of vacation, I thought they were one of the weaker 2 seeds, and I went on record saying that. I said they were the 2 seed with probably the biggest chance of getting upset in the first round just because of how I felt about Pyramids, how our good friend Ryan Hammer, an LCAA analyst for many moons.
One more.
Many moons. How he felt about them. But from there, they said, we're going to take that disrespect. We're going to eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then we're going to put it in the nearest sewer receptacle.
Yeah.
And they've won their first 2 games convincingly. So it'll be interesting to see how they match up with college. But
so it's time now for our favorite segment.
Tell us.
If you're new to the podcast, we have many segments. So, producer Messina, give us our music.
Jones and Eli's best performance of the region.
Thank you. That's right. It is time for the performance of the region. Presented by DoorDash. And we each give our best performance of the region. Do you want to go first or should I?
You go ahead.
Okay. For me, it's pretty clear. If you don't know at this point, you didn't listen to the last 10 minutes of the podcast because there's only one guy here that really rose to the occasion and hit a game-winning shot. And for me, Life Madness is about who makes plays in big moments, who rises to the occasion. You know what they say? Big-time players make big-time plays in big-time moments. And, one guy, they called him to do that. They drew up a play for him out of a timeout with a couple of seconds left. He had to get to the rack. He had to get a shot, and he did it. It's s'mores. What a performance from him. Without him, Late Night Campfire doesn't stand a chance in that parlay for halftime matchup. He played fantastic. All 3 parts of him, chocolate, graham cracker, and marshmallow, all played fantastic. So he's my performance of the region.
Okay. Love it. Shout out DoorDash. My performance of the region is going to be in this 11-3 game. As I said, I'm always going to find a guy on college that I love. Going on a bender. He's a guy who's been up and down this season. Not in National Player of the Year consideration like a Cold Beer, like a Matt. But you know what? He has his moments. He had his moments in this one and went in a bender in the tune to 40 points in that game. So they are my performance of the region. Now, let's go to the East region where partner, oh boy, did we have some good games in this one. And we'll start with that 1-9 matchup, Summer Fling and Drake Maye. There was a lot of hype coming in about Drake Maye. They beat your favorite stuffed animal in the round of 64, but we kind of know that was one of those cases of stuffed Eeyore not living up to expectations, not playing as well as he should have, and you could partly attribute that to the defense of Drake Maye, but
definitely.
But there's also a real part of you that thinks, they got a little lucky in this one. And I think we start with Michael Maye.
Yeah, have to.
Because Will Campbell was actually playing a little bit better.
Yeah.
No MVP on the team. And Michael Maye falling short of expectations. That kind of feels like the reason these guys fell short to Summer Fling.
Without a doubt. I mean, look, she's been there all year. She's been there even since before this team was founded. She's been with them forever. And she's been fantastic, and she's been fantastic all the regular season. And look, I'm not one to point fingers.
Don't.
I've even had to, in the past, cut off fingers because they were pointing too much. And I didn't like that about myself. So I got rid of them. They've since grown back, thank goodness.
Good.
But look, if I was pointing fingers, I think it would be either at her or, honestly, Drake Maye Lover. I was disappointed in him. And, of course, Drake Maye Lover, a great friend of the show, would love to talk to him and hear what he has to say about his team's performance. But you said it, Jones. I mean, Will Campbell was not that bad in this game. And, look, if you're Drake Maye, I'm not really sure where you go from here. This is a team that had high expectations coming off a fantastic regular season, a fantastic run in the May Conference, beating a Timothy Chalamet, beating the month of May, beating May the Force Be With You. So many great teams in that conference. Probably one of the best conferences, starting with M, in the country. So, it's a tough way to go out because I think a lot of people, you and I included, we're low on this 1 seed. And, look, 55-45, it's a close final score. This game wasn't really close. I don't think that final score paints the full picture. This game was never in doubt, and that's a tough pill to swallow if you're a Drake Maye fan.
It really is, and especially considering the fact that Cake by the Ocean wasn't at his best. Now, Danny Zuko. The thing about the Summer Fling team is they have these top 2 of Cake by the Ocean and Danny Zuko. And when Cake by the Ocean is not playing well, Danny Zuko always picks him up.
Always.
And that's what a good number 2 man does, and that's what he did in this one. That's what he did in this one. So they win to the tune in Naboo of 55-45. Summer Fling, another 1 seed who we might have given a level of disrespect to. I think we got a little nervous by their first game against Seeing Acquaintance.
I was frightful.
They only win that game 88-12. I mean,
It's a bad win.
the lowest margin between a 1-16 game in Life Madness 2026.
And in the last 12 years, too.
And in the last 12 years, obviously. So we were concerned, but they win this one 55-45 over a tough 9 seed in Drake Maye. So maybe feeling a little differently about these guys as we move forward. Now, moving forward, what a game we had here. Minecraft with the Cousins, Ghost Wipe. I had picked this game as a 12-13 game, as House Music versus Ghost Wipe. So the Ghost Wipe upset ends up being true. They upset Rooftop Beer. House Music does not pull the upset over Minecraft with the Cousins. And Minecraft with the Cousins won that game convincingly. So then I started to feel different about this Minecraft with the Cousins squad. And oh boy, have they proved us right against a team that looked like the slipper might just fit.
I'm honestly impressed. And it's rare that I say that. You know this about me. I'm not easily impressed.
Nope.
I don't like to be impressed. But I'm impressed. This is a great 5 seed. And look, we said it, if you go back and listen to our East preview pod, and we were looking at this quadrant, these 4 games in Dimsdale, these 4 teams in Dimsdale, you had Minecraft with the Cousins, you had House Music, you had Rooftop Beer, you had Ghost Wipe. I think you and I might have been in agreement that Minecraft with the Cousins, potentially the weakest of those 4 teams in Dimsdale. If you were a Minecraft with the Cousins team, you got your plane ticket to Dimsdale, I probably would have been telling you, sell that. Try to get some money back because it's going to be a short-lived trip, but when the dust has settled, they're the ones walking out of Dimsdale. And look, it's a team with a high ceiling, and this game has shown me that. And this was not an easy matchup for them. I know Ghost Wipe, they're a 13 seed, the lowest seed remaining at this point. They did not play like a 13 seed in this one, Jones. They looked every bit the part. I thought the slipper was kind of thing. I called my shoe guy. I said, looks to be about right? Quarter of an inch, maybe half an inch, at least looks similar measurements. Mm-hmm. He said, it's not, unfortunately, but let me get your take on this, because we showed the film, and a rarity, by the way, on Gimme 5. We rarely show film. It's obviously very copyrighted.
Yep.
These are all regional broadcasts.
We got in big trouble for that, by the way.
We did.
So we hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah. We were reamed out by our pinhead suits, and producer Messina actually was almost fired.
Yeah.
For allowing us to show live footage.
We almost had to have him. He was almost the fall guy.
Yeah.
So producer Messina, feel lucky.
You should be very grateful that you're
still here. Editing this podcast right now.
But yeah, we showed the live footage of the last play of the game. Minecraft with the Cousins, Ghost Wipe. Minecraft with the Cousins, they set a creeper trap for Ghost Wipe. Talk us through this. How do you think that came to be?
Yeah, so head coach Steve is really inventive, and late in the game, with the game tied at 49, Steve sets this creeper trap. Like, we came into this tournament saying, and a big reason why I picked House Music to win over Minecraft with the Cousins was we thought that creeper was going to be a detriment to this locker room, because we know what happens. He explodes. Yeah. He's always going to explode at some point in the game. But head coach Steve looked at this totally differently and just reminded me that not only in Life Madness, but in life, some things that you can perceive as negative. It's the old, very hackneyed, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Mm-hmm. When life gives you creepers, make the explosions. Don't try to prevent the explosions. So Steve takes Creeper in that first game against House Music and lets him explode on the court, and it actually helps them win the game. And then, when needed most in this 49-49 game, Steve sets a trap of creepers. And again, Messina, maybe you could show a screenshot of us showing that film. And if you haven't seen that reel, go check out that reel.
And Messina, please put, this belongs obviously to the regional Dimsdale broadcast. We don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Copyright or whatever.
Put the proper things. Otherwise, we're going to have to probably dismiss you and then dismiss ourselves.
That would suck.
That would really suck.
On a Saturday?
On a Saturday, we don't want to get dismissed. Come on. Maybe on a Sunday. And then Ghost Wipe walks right into it, explodes, and that's the end. And when there's an explosion, there's no Ghost Wipe.
No.
Oh my goodness. No. That's the last thing you want to see. And this is a team coming off being the DoorDash deliverers of the round.
Yeah.
So what a fall from grace. They almost pulled the upset. Minecraft with the Cousins win 51-49. And I don't know that their run is ending anytime soon.
Well, we'll get into it tomorrow when we talk about the Sweet 16. And look, it's a tough end to a great tournament for Ghostwipe. You said it. This is a team that pulled off a great win in round one, busted a lot of brackets, mine included. And it's a team that really relies on a clean game, a simple game. Things start to get a little too spicy for them. Things start to get a little too heavy. It's not a team that's going to succeed. So, look, they never really, I think, had championship aspirations. They weren't going to be that 10-seed risky text getting a risky response that we saw last year go to the national championship game. But a fantastic run, no doubt. Jones, let's get into the 6-3 game. Mm-hmm. Afternoon Nap and Theme Parks. Afternoon Nap pulls the upset, 57-43. But that's not the story of this game.
Nope.
You and I were in attendance for this one.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who don't know, if you've been living under a rock or living somewhere where you don't get Gimme 5 regularly.
Which would be very, very few places.
Venus.
And Michigan.
Yeah, we're not up in Venus or Michigan yet.
Yeah, but that's about it.
But that's it. Otherwise, you should be getting Gimme 5 regularly. And I heard we're going to be up in Michigan soon.
Okay, good. Thank
goodness. I don't know why we weren't able to get out there.
No, we never have any data from there, from our viewing metrics.
It's true. So if you're from Michigan, give us a comment, give us a DM. Tell us, you guys
Tell us that you're there.
Out there?
Yeah.
I haven't heard from you in a long time. But yeah, we were at this game, if you didn't know, in Jurassic Park. We were lucky enough. A great friend of ours, Elmo, he does obviously the radio broadcast. He has boxes at a lot of games all over the world. He has a box at Jurassic Park. It's a 3-man box. Jones and I were lucky enough to go. We could have taken producer Messina. We obviously decided not to take him.
Nope.
And we just went 2 of us in the 3-person box. So, empty seat with us. Elmo came by. He chilled. But yeah, we were there for this game, Jones. Like, I don't know where we want to start with this. Do you want to talk about our experience at the game in Jurassic Park? You want to talk about the game?
Well, let's just talk about the experience of Afternoon Nap and how they got here.
Yeah.
Because we know that in the first round, they had some issues.
Yeah.
They were able to win the game, but they were sleepwalking through that game. And a big part of that is because their players coming in from Spain, namely Siesta, got held up at JSA, which is I'm hearing, some people call it TSA, the TSA equivalent.
TSA? What does that mean?
Well, it's like JSA.
Yeah.
Right? It's the equivalent of that in some other cultures.
Oh, so it's like airport security.
It's like airport security.
Oh, okay.
Because
JSA is airport security in Jurassic Park.
Right. JSA is airport security. And
that's where I got held up, too. Coming to the game, they took my tie away.
Right. They took your tie away.
If you've ever been on Instagram Lives with us, when we were in Jurassic Park, I didn't have a tie because they removed my tie at JSA.
Right. JSA has been a complete mess lately. They have some sort of shutdown that they're trying to figure out over there.
Annoying.
It's a mess. I'm told it would never happen with TSA. So,
that's good.
Anyway, Siesta then was able to get through. And now they play in this game, which is an absolute game changer for them. You know how I feel about theme parks. I think they were a terrible 3-seed. I'm glad they're ejected from this tournament. I thought they should have lost to people named Will. They obviously didn't. But I must say, partner, I think if Siesta was not on this Afternoon Nap squad for this game, they probably would have lost.
Yeah. Look, it's possible. I honestly didn't watch most of this game.
Right, because of what we were doing.
Vomiting. Jones and I, we tried the 999 challenge. It's essentially in Jurassic Park, they've created this thing. It's called the 999 challenge. You have to eat 9 pterodactyl burgers, 9 megalodon venom drinks.
Right. Juices, you might say.
Juices, whatever you want to call it. And then you have to do both those things in 9 seconds. Used to be 9 minutes. They've changed it to 9 seconds. So we tried that challenge. Yes. It cost us 4.6 billion doubloons. Hurt the wallet a little bit, but figured you're only in Jurassic Park once. You should try it. Excuse me. I think that's megalodon venom coming back up.
Yeah.
But yeah, we tried it, and we were both vomiting profusely for hours on end. So I didn't even catch this game because I was so busy puking in the box.
Yeah. And I think we caught the most important part, the national anthem, which, Messina, if you could flash a picture of that.
Oh my God, I'm just getting goosebumps thinking about that anthem.
We got very emotional. Oh. It was just...
Oh my god! If you're not watching on YouTube, I just had a flashback to that anthem.
I mean, we were flashing for sure.
Wow, that was powerful.
It was excellent. That was certainly a highlight of the whole occasion.
Of my life.
And our lives.
Yeah.
Obviously. But the rest of the game was a low light for us. We became very sick. But afternoon nap luckily had siesta in, and they win 57-43. Now, moving down to this game in Sokovia.
Tasty game.
A tasty 10-2 game between Finishing Your Last Exam and PE. Finishing Your Last Exam, we always talked about they're a 10 seed, but they're a 10 seed out of the BFC, so I put an asterisk next to that, and I always bump a team up like 3 slots.
Mm-hmm.
So
Famously.
So if you're a 2 seed out of the BFC, you're actually a -1.
Yeah, which would be the highest seed.
Right. In my calculation of the Glotzer coefficient.
Right.
So this team was good. This is like a 7-2 game. Where do we even start with this one? I think nice teacher who says thank you as you hand in your last exam and wishes you to have a good summer had her guys in the right spot, but there was something just not 100% about this team out on the court.
It's head scratching, and I just had to scratch my head quickly.
And
If you're not watching YouTube, I just viciously scratched my head.
and I just did it as well, just to
continue to do
balance things out.
I'm head scratching because I don't understand where things went wrong for this 10 seed. You're right. Right? They had all the right guys on the court. They did everything by the book. Mm-hmm. You could tell they'd studied up on their plays. They had all the right answers. And, they didn't pass to the next round. So, sometimes in Life Madness, things are just kind of inexplicable, and that's what happened here. Look, all credit goes to this PE team. They were fantastic. Their star point guard, dodgeball, what a game. Shooting guard, team handball, fantastic. Floor hockey played great. Even, guys like broomball, guys like badminton that are historically really weak, played awesome. And really importantly, they got deodorant in the game. A guy who doesn't always see enough action. So a ton of credit to this PE team. They were awesome. They're definitely, if not the favorites to come out of this region, a heavy contender to win the region. But I don't really know where you go from here if you're this 10 seed jumps. Kind of a disappointing end to it. What was otherwise a great season.
It was a really strong season for them, and I think, you go back to work in the BFC, because just competing in the BFC and just making this tournament out of the BFC is an accomplishment. So you tap yourselves on the back for that. And as long as, there were some rumors that obviously nice teacher who you hand your exam to, who's very kind and wishes you to have an excellent summer and grow as a human being and be an excellent human being and find your worth in this life until eventually you pass away and pass into the afterlife, where hopefully you're very good in the afterlife and make a lot of friends and are a good person. There were rumors that they were going to transfer head coaching jobs to Joke Makes Teacher Laugh.
Yeah.
Which would be a big mistake.
And we're going to get ahead of it. There was obviously a crazy controversy about, Joke greeting you at your door.
Oh.
We'll get into that. But, Jones, for now, let's just give our music. Messina music.
Music.
Jones and Eli's best performance of
God,
the
it gets so
region.
sweet every time. My performance of the round, it goes to Creeper. A great job by Creeper. Great job by head coach Steve putting them in that position to set that trap. Really pressure Ghost Wipe, and they were able to trap them, get the turnover, and explode the game. And they won the game for Minecraft with the Cousins. Who's your performance of the region?
My performance of the region, brought to you by DoorDash, is Siesta. He was able to get through JSA, played really well in that game. Not that we saw it because we were viciously vomiting everywhere. But from what I'm told, he filled up the box score really well and got the win for the 6th seed. Now on to the South region partner, and oh my goodness, these 4 games were perhaps the juiciest collection of the 4 for me. Not in terms of results necessarily, but in terms of the matchups. They were super sexy. We start with Destroying Bro in Fantasy versus Your First Love. I mean, does it pain you? Does it pain you to see the 9 seed on their way out of this tournament?
Yeah, it does. It gives me agony. And
Agony.
I'll reprise my agony, even greater because it sucks. It sucks every time I think about my first love, Eve. I know it sucks for you to think about your first love of Juliet.
Mm-hmm.
Look, they're with other men now.
Yep.
And they're probably better off, and so are we, Jones.
So are we.
We're
That's
high
important to
value
remember.
individuals, and we don't need love. We love ourselves enough,
And I heard a phrase like that. You don't need love. No, nobody needs to be loved.
Wow.
No.
That's inspiring.
Right. So if you ever feel alone, remember, you don't need to be loved. And that's how I got over Juliet.
That's how you got over Juliet? Wow, that's beautiful. But it's nice to be loved, Jones. It's nice to be loved.
Yeah, it is nice. It is nice.
And look, this first love team, this 9 seed just wasn't feeling the love in this game, I guess. Destroying Bro in Fantasy was awesome. And their star players, we've talked about them, CMC, Puka Nacua, JSN, Tucker Kraft, Bijan Robinson. They were all fantastic. Jahmyr Gibbs was awesome. Jones, in this game, they got Brandon Aubrey back. They got Chase Brown. They got Breece Hall and Jones. They got my guy, Lamar Jackson. He played big minutes in this game. And
He did.
when all those guys are playing for Destroying Bro in Fantasy, I don't see how you beat that team.
Yeah, and I think that's why a lot of people have them going to the final. I think that's why a lot of people have them winning the final. Nobody thought that they would lose to your first love, and they certainly didn't.
I did. I believed in Eve.
A fitting 69-31 victory. I'm glad you still believed in Eve. I'm glad that I believe in the lack of love and
Eve,
the lack of Juliet.
Eve, if you're listening.
No.
Me.
Do not do
Call
that again.
me.
Producer Messina.
Call me, please.
Producer Messina, cut his camera, please.
Producer Messina, put my number on the screen for Eve.
Oh, my
Please.
goodness. Messina, do the right thing.
Put my number on the screen.
That's all I can say. Shout out Spike Lee.
If Messina, if you didn't put it on, my phone number is 123456789. Just call me Eve. Let's move on.
Let's move on to the 5-4 matchup in Smallville that I had circled. I circled it with a red pen, and then I circled it with a black Sharpie, and then I circled it with a dinosaur ink, because that's obviously what they were giving us in Jurassic Park.
Too many circles.
Too many circles, but I circled the whole thing as my matchup of the round. It was all-time roulette run the 5 seed, taking on the 4 seed Golf with the Boys. I was so excited about this one, and then, gets off to that very fast start, where they're all suited in black. That's all-time roulette run, obviously. And Golf with the Boys is subbing in birdie. They're subbing in par. They're subbing in some bogey, but keeping double bogey and triple bogey on the bench. This one looked pretty even as we started, and Vegas had it as a pick'em, and then things just blew up.
Well, literally, they did.
Yep.
And I've never seen anything like it in all my years of commentating. And we'll talk about some of the other crazy things that happened in this round. But, Jones, this might take the cake as craziest. If you didn't watch the game, if you weren't in Smallville, we were watching it at the Jurassic Park airport, trying to get back home to film. Mm-hmm. One of the craziest things I've ever seen. Head coach dealer of all-time roulette run calls a timeout very early on. I forget exactly how many seconds. Messina, remind the people how many seconds, please. Gets on the phone to their European affiliates, and he says, we need some help. We need some other guys. You didn't need help. You guys were fine.
They were so fine.
You were fine. You didn't need to make a drastic change. But he calls in this guy. He was a Russian player. Mm-hmm. I don't even know what his name was. He was like a Russian roulette player.
Right.
Calls him. Immediately gets on a plane from Russia during the timeout. Gets subbed in the game. Which I didn't even know was in the LCA rules. So you could do that. But this Russian roulette guy gets in the game for roulette. That's it. Over. One shot. That's all it takes. Game over. They lose. He's terrible. He's maybe the worst player I've ever seen.
Awful.
Who is he?
I don't know. And Dealer's going to have a lot to explain. I know he was hoping to maybe get a job with Blackjack Heater after this season.
Yeah, that's gone.
Yeah. I think that's going to be the end of that.
Did you hear about he was trying to sign with cars too?
Yep. Not.
He's trying to be a car dealer.
Yep. And arms.
That's gone?
He was trying to arms, cars, and blackjack eater.
Yeah.
He was trying to
I'm
do
glad he
all
didn't
three of
sign
those
for
things.
arms. That would have been
that would have been pretty
a
bad.
bad team.
So 71-29 is your final there, and didn't live up to the hype that I had circled thrice. But you know what did live up to the hype? This game in King's Landing, America's game, America's team, Perry the Platypus taking on Ice Cream. And partner, I got to call you out.
Call me out. I deserve it.
You were echoing this sentiment.
Yeah.
That Ice Cream had it, right? That old duo, as old as time, basically, Chocolate and Vanilla, would be able to take down the great Perry the Platypus. And it was a rocky road for this team right off the start. To be matched up against Perry in the second round is brutal. People thought for Perry to be matched up against Ice Cream in the second round is brutal. But I said, to play Perry in the second round, that is a fate worse than death.
Yeah.
And Perry proved that.
Well, it ended up being death for Ice Cream. And look, condolences to everybody who picked Ice Cream out there. Our boy Ryan Hammer, as you mentioned, LCA analyst for many moons. He had him winning it all. And Perry the Platypus, when the calendar turns to March, is a special, special platypus. And, we talked about some of the halftime adjustments that team made. Switched fedoras at half, which you never really see from Perry. And it was just an all-around great win. We already said the rhyme on live. Messina, I don't know if we want to replay the rhyme.
That might be nice.
Messina, can you replay the rhyme for the people?
Ice Cream, Jim Beam, you make me feel like I'm living a teenage dream.
Emmitt Smith, that beautiful rushing leader, running up the seam.
Watching all the movies from the horror series Scream.
Walking out of your house with a smile that absolutely gleams.
A lot of sheets of paper put together is called a ream.
There is no better performance in 2.5 Men than the great Charlie Sheen.
I like to eat tuna, I like to eat salmon, but my favorite fish is sea bream. Perry in 5.
Very nice.
Yeah. Thanks
Yeah.
for that, Messina. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Messina.
But yeah, Perry gets it done. They didn't even need 5. They got it done in 1. And that's like Madness. These are only 1-game series. So the rhyme doesn't make a lot of sense, but they get it done and they're moving on. And Jones, they're going to take on the winner of an all BFC clash. All green lights on the way home, finally securing your crush. There were some murmurings about this 10 seed. Could we see an all double-digit Sweet 16 matchup? How beautiful would that be? It was not to be.
Nope, it was never to be. This finally securing your crush team, again, the BFC is a gauntlet. And in some ways, at some points, the BFC is more competitive than any other conference there is.
In all the ways, I would say.
Right, in most ways. So when you win the BFC, and when you've already beaten a team in the regular season in the BFC, I expect them to get it done in March. These guys were the BFC champions for a reason, and they showed it in Dillon. They win 59-41. And partner, not to get too ahead of ourselves, but I think they will actually be Perry's first real big test.
Yeah, look, I think we both had them playing each other on Sweet 16, and we both, again, I don't want to get ahead of myself. Come back tomorrow and listen to the Sweet 16 preview, but we both had Perry going out to finally securing your crush.
No, I haven't.
We had them beating finally securing your crush. Don't know if I still believe that or not. You'll have to listen to the podcast tomorrow to see, but I mean, this 2 seed is legit, and they proved it in every sense of the word. They were awesome. They were spectacular. They were outrageously brilliant.
Oh.
They were meticulous. They were
Serendipitous.
Yeah, exactly. I'm out of words to describe how great they were, and this is a really good all green lights on the way home team. One of the better double-digit seeds we've seen in recent memory. Kind of akin to a risky text getting a risky response team. A 10 seed we saw last season go to the national championship. I thought this team was every bit as good as those guys. Just couldn't get it done. And look, they always say this. When you play a team 3 times in one season, that's the thing that happens. That's a quote.
Right? That's the thing that happens.
Yeah, and this is what happened here. They played them a 3rd time, and They lost all 3 times, and maybe that quote needs to be modified in some regard.
They could work on that a little bit.
But, you know, I'm not sure. Jones, it's time for our favorite segment here. Let's hear it, people. Messina.
Jones and Eli's best performance of the region.
It's time for our performance of the region. And for me, the choice is pretty obvious. I'm going with Lamar Jackson. My glorious king. He's on my desk if you can't see it. Destroying Broad Fantasy. This is a team. This was not an easy matchup. I know the scoreline looks a little lopsided, 69-31. It wasn't lopsided. I mean, excuse me, it was even more lopsided than it was. But this should not have been a lopsided game. These are 2 very evenly matched teams. Your First Love is awesome. We've talked about how great they are. So in order for this game to be lopsided, Destroying Broad Fantasy needed some fantastic performances, and they got that from Lamar Jackson. He's a guy who in previous seasons has been great. People were saying he's a little bit washed. He didn't have it this year. He proved everybody wrong on this game. I'm excited to see him going forward in this tournament.
Yep. And my player of the round, or player of the region rather, you know who it is. It's Perry. Drinking some Jim Beam. Emmitt Smith, the all-time rushing leader, rushing up the seam. Love and acceptance and love for your fellow man in Good Will Hunting is the theme. Perry in 5.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's move on to the West region, Jones, where we had 2 incredible games, and we talked about it today. If you haven't seen our recaps, go listen to them now, Jones. 2 games in the West were 51-49. That's the first time that's happened since 1803.
Yeah.
And we remember that tournament. We don't need to get into it. An insane tournament. And the first game that was 51-49 was the 1-9 game. If you remember my big board analysis back a few weeks ago, I said, I think the 9 takes down the 1. I think dog greeting you at your door gets it done over house parties. It looked that way early.
It really did, and this team was firing on all cylinders. Talk about this starting lineup, right? Clifford, Scooby-Doo, Brian, Marley, and Old Yeller.
Amazing. What's the weak link?
There's not a weak link there. They were playing rough. They were firing on all cylinders. Things were looking really good. They take a 40-6 lead over house parties. And we're sitting there watching this game. I was watching this game on a tiny, old, retro television.
Me too, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Separate places.
Yeah, that's weird.
Interesting.
What model is yours?
Well, it's not mine. I was going to visit Granny of the Beat Switch on 90210 because Travis Scott had just gotten home and she was so relieved
I'm glad he made it back.
that he didn't forget about her and that he wasn't working too hard. And then I said, Granny, the house party's dog greeting you at your door game is on. And she said, oh, Sonny, don't worry. I've got it on this little here television.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what she sounds like
That's
these
what,
days?
yeah, and she said, Sonny, here it is. And it was this big. So we were all huddled around it.
That's small.
You know.
You should have just watched it on your phone at that point.
Yeah, Travis Scott, Huncho Jack Huncho, the Cactus Jack, everybody's just sitting around here. We're watching the TV. And I said, at halftime, this game's over.
Yeah.
But Granny said, Sonny, the fat lady hasn't sung yet. We must watch the end. And I said, the only other option was to be playing backgammon with Granny. So I said, you know what? We'll just finish out the game. And thank goodness we did. Head coach of this team, kind owner, made a awful mistake. Subbed in Cujo,
Yes.
who's a real killer,
Terrible.
but usually kills the other team.
You got the killer instinct.
Right. And I thought he might kill Jungle Juice. And actually at the time, I whispered to
But did you think it was
Trav.
going to be an actual kill or a metaphorical? Because I thought it was going to be, he's going to kill it out there.
Yeah, just kill the competition.
Yeah.
But I say he's going to kill Jungle Juice. I whispered that to Trav. And Trav said he's going to go sicko mode. And I said, I hope so. And then he goes sicko mode at his own teammates.
Murders them.
Murders Marley. Murders
Old
Yeller. And from there, Eli, they were absolutely cooked. Managed a measly 9 points And House Parties comes all the way back,
Storming.
goes on a 45-0 run, or 45-9 rather, and they win 51-49. How did this one seed escape?
I mean, it comes down to coaching. Terrible coaching. You cannot, in that situation, you have a big lead. You can't make a substitution like that, especially with a guy like Cujo, right? He's a good player. He's had great moments for this dog greeting you at your door team in the past. But he's had his controversy.
Sure.
Off the court.
Yep.
He got in a very bad altercation with head coach owner. Near-death situation.
Yep.
So, a guy like that with his temperament, you cannot be putting him into a game this big. My heart goes out to your mom, to all the fans out there of dog greeting you at your door who believed in this team, who thought they could pull this 9-1 upset, myself included. For it to be ruined in that fashion with such an egregious coaching error is heartbreaking. My heart goes out also to the families of Old Yeller and Marley. Great players, lost too soon. You know, it's always tragic when a Life Madness athlete dies mid-competition.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen very often.
Right. Only once or twice or 3 times a tournament.
Right.
Usually.
But very tragic situation for those guys. And look, this one seed escapes by the hair on their chinny chin chin. To use a granny and kind of a dog reference.
Yeah.
Doing a lot here, guys. Jones, let's move down to the 5-4 matchup. Playing outside until dark versus road trip with best friends. I had this 5 seed going to the national championship game. Not only that, I have them winning it all. And as we all know, I'm in first place right now in the Creator Bracket Challenge. So I'm feeling pretty good. People were saying, though, those same people who threw produce at me for my Friday Wii Sports take came into my house, picked up their produce, and threw it back at me again.
Wow.
And said, Eli, this is going to be a close game. Your guys might even lose. Instead, we were dominant. 63-37, this game was never in doubt. Where did it go wrong for road trip with best friends?
Yeah, it came down to the substitutions, partner. This is a team that we talked about, has a really good starting lineup, but has a really poor bench. So they gave too many minutes to car sickness in this one. They gave too many minutes to small bladder.
Yeah.
They gave too many minutes to, are we there yet? But even then, what was crazy about this game was it was close. It looked like they could overcome those poor substitutions. But then, an ill-advised decision to sub Hitchhiker into the game.
Terrible. You never know what you're getting from that guy.
Nope. And you got a creepy performance. A downright scary performance and a downright dangerous one. And there's no room for that in the LCAA, but that's what you get when you put a Hitchhiker into the game. And from there, they didn't manage another point. 0.
Yeah.
An absolute goose egg to the tune of finally losing this one 63-37. And it was just mercy at the end of the game that they could get rid of Hitchhiker.
Yeah.
That's all it came down to.
Yeah, and like you said on the reels today, sometimes, a team wins a game and the credit goes actually more to the team that lost the game for losing the game. And I think that's kind of the story here. Yes, playing outside till dark was great. Their star big 3 of backyard football, snow football, manhunt, and hooping in the driveway, all played great. But I do think this was more a case of road trip with best friends, putting in the wrong players at the wrong time. And Jones, in Life Madness, you can't do that. And that's why I think so much of this tournament comes down to coaching and the front office and the ownership and just the organizations. That's why we see teams like Friday continue to win and dominate, is because they have such a stable foundation over there in that building, and they have such a winning culture.
Yeah.
And that's just not something you see from this 4 seed.
It is not, partner. Now let's move down to the 6-3 game played in the Pride Lands. It was Joke Makes Teacher Laugh taking on the Beach. You were a big fan of this 6 seed. You talk about how they're getting high on pot noose and all the great things about them. But they made a critical error in this game against the Beach. Another instance of bad coaching. There's a lot of poor coaching in this West region.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, before we talk about the game, we need to talk about the incident before the game.
Talk about the incident.
If you don't know, if you don't follow us, how are you listening to this video, first of all?
You hopefully follow us.
But if you weren't on your phone, if you weren't watching the first couple minutes of this game, you might not know what happened, but I'll tell you what happened.
Oh.
The two teams walk out. They're doing the national anthem. It's in the Pride Lands. They play their famous anthem. Great national anthem. But just then, the security guards were so moved by the national anthem. And pregame they do this ritual. They lift up a lion into the air and everybody kind of goes crazy. They did that. The security guards, who I think are elephants, were so moved by this that they kind of stopped watching the court. And this allowed a team who I have not seen play in a very long time, joke greeting you at your door, to enter the court and start playing. Just started playing the game, joke greeting you at your door. This is a team, Jones, that went winless this year in the greeting you at your door conference. Mm-hmm. They sneak onto the court, they start playing. Disastrous. Beach gets off to a 27-0 lead. Finally, our interns, obviously we have many interns at Give Me 5.
Many.
We had tasked these interns with kind of monitoring the situation, letting security know if anything was off. Finally, they realize, they let the security know. Security removes, this team from the court. Then Joke Makes Teacher Laugh comes back on the court, plays against the Beach. Final score is bad. We really apologize for this, everybody, because, this maybe affected the game. The security guards have been fired. We were light on our interns. People were saying, some serious punishment could be in order. We decided just to fire 17 of them. So we fired 17 interns.
Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Yeah, good riddance. But wow, that start to the game, and then you mentioned it. You put in terrible players, too. You make bad substitutions. It's just not a recipe for success, and the Beach never really even had to try in this game, right? Riptide got minutes at the end of the game, and they still won. So
they were on a wave right to the final buzzer. It was easy for them. And then, there was no room for error after that pregame scandal for Joke Make Teacher Laugh. And, for that reason, we feel bad for them. But then to sub in Hen, who can count her own eggs, she's a mathema chicken.
Terrible player.
Nobody liked that player.
That's my reaction to that player.
Nobody laughed. Nobody liked it. 64-36 is your final in that game. Now let's move to the final game in the round of 32. Crazy and emotional that we're already here and we're already talking about leaving you guys on another podcast.
But we'll be back tomorrow.
We'll be back tomorrow. So luckily it won't be a long goodbye. It was Payday, the 7-seed Payday, taking on the 2-seed My Parents Are in Home text. And Eli, I said for the longest time.
You did?
This My Parents Are in Home text has shades of Risky Text getting a risky response. Obviously, both out of the Spicy Text Conference, and they beat out Risky Text getting a risky response this year. But I thought, okay, Risky Text getting a risky response was a 10-seed. They had a tough road to the national championship. My Parents Are in Home, in kind of a wide open West region, well, they might be Final Four bound. Not only are they not that, they couldn't even make it past the 7-seed Payday. 51-49, they lose. How do we make sense of this?
Jones, there are a few things in life that give me greater pleasure than you being wrong.
Wow.
And that's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah.
Right?
Understandable.
And
I'm
you
right a lot.
could not have been more wrong here on this one. This My Parents Are in Home text team was awful. They were, I don't even remember the line here, but they were double-digit favorites without question in this game. Mm-hmm. They did not lead once in this game. They brought it back to tie late, but they didn't have a lead. Payday was fantastic, and we've talked about bad coaching all day long. Now it's time to give some credit where credit's due to good coaching.
Yep.
Head coach Bank, he made some of the best substitutions I've ever seen. He got $1 bill in there very often. He's a volume shooter, and he got him in often. Mm-hmm. He got 5 in there. He got 20 in there. And Jones, when it mattered most, when it came down to somebody needing to make one big play to seal this win, he gets Benjamin in the game. A guy who doesn't see a lot of minutes. He puts him in that situation, and he comes through in the clutch.
Yep. And this team famously has two head coaches, Bank and Wallet.
Obviously.
They co-coach the team. And Wallet's out there yelling, one, get in the game. One, get in the game. One, get in the game. And 3 ones going to the game. And he meant, no, I meant 1 times 100.
Yes.
Get in the game.
Which this is why they have Bank, because he then is able to do the calculations faster.
He said, oh, okay, 1 times 100, carry the 4.
100.
100.
Yeah.
Right.
I got that faster than you.
Just slightly.
Yeah.
And then Benjamin comes into the game, seals the deal, wins the game, 51-49. Incredible. And now Payday will look to continue their Cinderella run against the Beach.
What a game that's going to be.
In the next round. Incredible. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. And let's talk about our performance of the rounds,
Let's do it, Messina.
Jones and Eli's best performance of the region.
You want it?
Please, go ahead.
Well, I think you're going to take the man we just talked about. So I'm going to go a different route here. And I'm going to go a way that nobody's even thinking about. I'm going with Cujo. Cujo. The performance of the region, and it was a negative performance. That might be unprecedented. I don't know that we've ever done a negative performance of the region, but he was the reason that dog greeting you at your door lost their game. He gets subbed in. He kills 2 of his own teammates in Marley and Old Yeller, and that set the table for House Parties to make that dramatic comeback and get that win. So for me, the most important performance of the region, and a great one if you're a fan of House Parties, if you're a fan of dog greeting at your door, if you're a family member of Marley or of Old Yeller, you probably don't like me very much right now, but he's my performance of the region.
I'm going to do something unprecedented and jump on the same game.
Oh my God.
But go to the other side, and I've got to shout out Jungle Juice. They're my performance of the region. We know that Jungle Juice in the round of 64 had to leave the game just 2 minutes in after getting violently sick and vomiting all over the court. This game kind of came full circle for them, and they made the game-winning layup when it mattered most, was able to get through this game without becoming sick again, and we know in these quick turnarounds that we had questions if he was even going to be available for this game. And then comes back and wins it. That's what Life Madness is all about, so that is my performance of the region right there.
Jones, that wraps up the round of 32. Let's do some final words.
Final words.
What a round. 4 games, 51-49. There was only 2 games that were in the 70s. Every single game was either a single digit or a very narrow double digit game. Every single game for the second straight round went under 100.5. So if you'd parlayed that, you'd be a very rich man or woman. And look, I'm excited for the Sweet 16. I don't know if we can tell the people yet.
Tell them.
Can we?
Reveal it.
We're going to Whoville for the Sweet 16. We'll be in attendance at Whoville. We wanted to get tickets to Hogsmeade. We might be going to Hogsmeade and Radiator Springs too for like a little bit. But we're going to the games at Whoville, which is going to be awesome. So we're excited. We got to get going. When's our flight? Is it now?
It's coming up in just about 15 seconds.
Okay, so you got to get there fast. And in the meantime, we'll be back tomorrow morning with coverage, breaking down the whole Sweet 16, and so much more. We love all of you. Thanks for listening. Jones, any last words?
That's Eli. I'm Jones. This is the Life Madness official companion podcast. We love you guys.
We'll see you tomorrow.